Welcome everybody to Tino's Time Wrestling. And on this episode, it's time to go to War Games. It's one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. It's where NXT goes inside 2 rings and a cage, and they beat the 8 people, 8 girls, 8 women, 8 guys, and 8 men, beat the hell out of each other, and it's just beautiful, and it's amazing to see. So there's no different this year. NXT keeping the tradition alive, and this year we're getting NXT 2.0 versus NXT Black and Gold. But before we get to War Games, who's going to lose their hair? Cameron Grimes or Duke Hudson? Cameron Grimes and Duke Hudson have been going back and forth. They've been having poker matches. They've been fighting each other. They've been talking back and forth. Who's going to lose their hair? Who is going to be tag team champions? Can Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly, the unexpected tag team #1 contenders, dethrone Imperium, the NXT tag team champions? And finally, who's going to survive War Games? War Games is one of my favorite pay-per-views, like I just said, of the year. And if you don't know the rules for War Games, I'll let you know. Before we preview the 2 matches, I'll let you know the rules for War Games. But before we talk about that, let's wait to talk about War Games for last. Let's talk about the other 4 matches on the card. And the first match I want to actually talk about, I didn't mention it in the highlights, it's in the headlines. It's Joe Gacy versus Roderick Strong for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And you know, this is a rivalry that has been going on the last few weeks and the last month about. And you know, Joe Gacy is somebody, he was introduced in NXT 2.0 when it first came up and when they first started introducing it back in October. And it's one of those things that it's just, I've kind of liked Joe Gacy, and to be honest, he kind of reminds me of a Kevin Owens. You know, he has the same type of like style, the body build, you know, he's good on the mic and everything like that. And Roderick Strong, you know, he's the only one left that's, you know, other than Kyle O'Reilly, which I really hope the rumors aren't true about his contract expiring like Johnny Gargano's is, because if it is, Roderick Strong would be the last undisputed era member left in NXT, because Adam Cole, if you know, he's in AEW. So is Bobby Fish. If Bobby Fish could rob, I forgot what Riddle's rhyme was, but I can't say it. If you could go back and look it up, it was great. But you know, those 2 are in NXT, and it just, yeah, I just hope that, you know, Roderick Strong doesn't go to AEW like Adam Cole and Bobby Fish did. But in this match, before we don't want to talk too much about AEW, but Joe Gacy and Roderick Strong are going to put on a really good show. These 2 men are 2 people that I think, you know, could open the show and have a really good match. And, you know, in the end, I could really see the unexpected happening and Joe Gacy winning the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. So I'm going to take Joe Gacy to win this. I think maybe he gets the opportunity, and maybe this is where he gets the building block. And, you know, Joe Gacy isn't really like a cruiserweight, but I mean, he still is you know, I mean, if they consider him a cruiserweight, that works for me too. Whatever, I don't know what we consider cruiserweights. I thought it was like Rey Mysterios and everything. Not saying anything bad about Joe Gacy, I just don't know what we consider a cruiserweight anymore. So, you know, and that's fine with me, I don't care. But, you know, in the end, I'm taking Joe Gacy to become the new NXT Cruiserweight Champion. And that would be really good and, you know, a new opportunity, because, you know, it seems like they're giving a lot of these NXT guys a lot of good build and a lot of, you know, the good people from NXT. We'll talk about a lot of guys from NXT 2.0 like Braun Breaker and stuff when we talk about War Games and stuff like that. But, you know, it's interesting to see all of the, like, different things that NXT 2.0 has brought since they swapped over from being the black and gold brand. The next match on the card that I want to talk about, I mentioned this one in the headlines. It was the NXT Tag Team Champions. It's Imperium versus Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner. Von Wagner and Kyle O'Reilly are a very unexpected tag team. They've kind of been friends, and they've befriended each other the last few weeks, and it kind of reminds me of like a Riddle and Randy Orton situation, not like the comedic act to it all, as Riddle as Randy Orton are funny, but I kind of like the mix between Von and Kyle. It's interesting to see, and I think that Kyle is probably helping Von a lot, like learning the ropes and everything like that, and that's what it's always about, is helping these guys learn. And Imperium, they've been the NXT Tag Team Champions since they took the Tag Team Championships away from MSK. MSK are doing their funny things and their funny promos and their funny little video segments on NXT, and it's going to be interesting to see where they go. But Imperium has been the Tag Team Champions since then, and to be honest, I think that's going to continue. I would love to take Kyle O'Reilly and Von Wagner, but I can't. I think Imperium's going to win, and they're going to still be your NXT Tag Team Champions. We'll have to see what happens. It's good that there's only 5 matches on the card, because there's given time for each match, and I think each match will be about 15 minutes, and that works for me. But as we'll get into the War Game rules as we get into them, but War Game matches are about 45 minutes. So I could see, like I said, that's why I should see the first 4 matches being about 15 minutes, and that works for me. The next match on the card, though, before we start talking about the War Game matches, it's hair versus hair. And to be honest, I don't think we've seen a hair versus hair match since Donald Trump versus Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 23. I'm going way back to 2007, people. I was like 11, I think I was. I'm 14 years ago. Woo, I still remember watching that WrestleMania with my friends. I had my friend Corey come over all the time. I think we slept on the floor that night. But anyway, the last time we saw a hair versus hair match was a long time ago. And I love seeing hair versus hair matches. And it's matches like these that I wish that they would still bring around. I love War Games and like the Elimination Chambers and Hells in the Cells and stuff like that. But like different types of like matches. And I know it's hard to find 2 people that would be willing to cut off their hair and everything. But hey, it's just a different stipulation. And I think that these people should be more willing to. Especially because a lot of the wrestlers, if you've known, they've grown up and they watched all the stuff that we grew up growing up. So it's like, if they love that, so then that's what you should be doing if you wanted to become a professional wrestler, and you should have known that's what would have involved. But that's just me. But I think this match is going to be really good. Duke Hudson is somebody I really enjoy watching. He's funny. He's really good on the mic. He's a good wrestler, in my opinion. Cameron Grimes, take it to the moon and back, baby. He's been one of my favorites. If you listen to Tino's Time Wrestling all the time, and you talk to me, and you listen to your boy, I love Cameron Grimes. And everybody loves Cameron Grimes. He's got all that money. He's got all the women. He's got all the limos. He's got everything that everybody wants. I mean, he even had the $1 million title for a minute, and then they just got rid of it. I really like that, but that's just me. But, in this match, I'm going to take Cameron Grimes to win. I don't think, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. And, it could be fun to see Cameron Grimes bald. But I think that it would be really good and really funny to see Duke Hudson bald. We saw the thing on this past NXT where they showed what they both would look like bald. And I just think it would be greater. I think it would be funnier to see Duke Hudson bald. But that's just me. But, yeah, so I'm taking Cameron Grimes, take it to the moon and back to win this match and keep his hair and keep his good looks and his dreadlocks and keep all that money, and Duke Hudson will be bald. So, yeah. Now, it's time to talk about War Games. And, NXT War Games is a match that came around about 4 to 5 years ago, and Undisputed Era has been in every single one except this year's one. And the women's one, obviously. But Undisputed Era has been in every single one. And the things that those 4 men did in those matches, people need to realize, like, how good and how well that they were. And how awesome Undisputed Era was as a faction and everything. And honestly, they made War Games. And I don't know if it was not for them, I don't know if we would still be having this pay-per-view today. So let's get into the rules, because I mentioned it earlier in the show about the rules. The rules are 4 people get put in a cage. 3 people on your team will be put in a cage. 1 person will enter. And then the person that won the advantage on this past NXT, and then 2 weeks ago, Kaylee Ray defeated Dakota Kai in the ladder match a few weeks ago, and then Braun Breaker defeated Johnny Gargano in the ladder match. So they get an advantage, and the advantage is that 2 people start in the match from each team. And then the first 5 minutes, one person from each team enters. And then after the first 5 minutes, it goes down to 3 minutes. And then from there on, it goes 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and 3 minutes. But the advantage is that Kaylee Ray will always have a person more than Team Toxic Attraction's team. So, for example, it could be Kaylee Ray and Cora Jade versus Mandy Rose. And then it could be Cora Jade, Kaylee Ray, oh my god, I'm losing it. Kaylee Ray, Cora Jade, and then one other person versus Mandy Rose and Gigi. Just so it's always 3 against 2, 2 against 1, 4 against 3 before all 8 people enter the match. And that is when WarGames officially enters. And you say, what do you mean that it officially starts and it officially enters? What I mean by that is that you cannot pin anybody and you cannot win the match until all 8 people are in the match. So you could bring in tables, ladders, you could beat the living hell out of each other. You could just, that we've seen in the past, they bring in everything and every type of thing in the match. And it's awesome. I love watching it. It's beautiful to see. So, but that just means is that you cannot win the match and your team cannot win until all 8 members are in the match. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it earlier that the first matches, or these matches last about 45 minutes. So now that I've given you the rules, and if you're very confused about the rules, you can go on Peacock, the news of WWE.com. They have the rules on there. And when I say Peacock, you go on the app on Peacock, and they have NXT, the pay-per-views in the past, and they even have a section of info that you can see the rules. So, yeah. So if you don't know the rules and you didn't understand all that, I hope I made it clear. But I don't want to spend any more time on the rules because we want to talk about these 2 WarGame matches, and it's going to be an absolute barn burner. Let's talk about the women first, because we usually have a match as in WarGames that starts off the pay-per-view, and I know I said that Joe Gacy and Roderick Strong might start off the pay-per-view, but then again, I'm probably wrong, and they're going to do the same thing they always do, and they're not going to mix it up, and we'll see a WarGames start it off. So I think the women's will start it off, and they'll keep the men for the end. But, I could be wrong, and we might see the men start it off. But let's talk about the women's WarGame match. So, like I mentioned in the rules, Kaylee Ray won the advantage for her team. So, like I was talking about earlier in the rules, how it could be Cora Jade and Kaylee Ray versus Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose. I'm sorry, not Mandy Rhodes. Mandy Rose. It could be Kaylee Ray, Raquel Gonzalez, and Cora Jade versus Mandy and Gigi, and it will always be 3-on-2, 2-on-3, Mandy's team will never have an advantage. And to be honest, I could honestly see the one woman to start this match and to go all the way 45 minutes to start the match. I could see it be Mandy, and Cora Jade. That would be really good, and I think it's a great opportunity for Cora Jade to show that she is going to be the future of NXT and that she could very well be an NXT Women's Champion down the road. And I think that's a great opportunity for her. So that's who I think is going to start the match. And we're not going to go how I think everybody's going to enter because, nobody wants to listen to all that. Everybody just wants to get to the prediction and who I think is going to win. So after these women beat the living hell out of each other for 30 minutes, we see them go back and forth. Raquel Gonzalez, Kaylee Ray, they all got an advantage. We all beat the hell out of each other. Once all 8 women enter WarGames and it officially begins, I hope everybody is just beating the hell out of each other. I hope even after WarGames starts, I hope we see them beat the hell out of each other for another 15 minutes. And if this WarGames match wants to be an hour, I'm down because I love WarGame matches. I actually went to one 2 or 3 years ago. I can't even believe it's been that long. In Chicago, it was the NXT WarGames Survivor Series weekend at the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, and it was awesome to see. And just seeing that live, it was just awesome. Tommaso Ciampa took Adam Cole and jumped off the cage onto a table. It was just awesome to see live. And, like I said, go check out all the old War Game matches because they're awesome. They even had them back in the 80s and 90s if you were just new to wrestling. They've had this match for a while, but I'm happy that they've kept it in NXT. So back to the women. Sorry, I got a little off track. I'm just excited about this War Games match. This War Games match, though, I think that Toxic Attraction's team is going to win. I love everything that they're doing with Toxic Attraction. They're holding all the gold in NXT. They got Dakota Kai on their side. She's been in a few of them. Raquel has also been in a few of them. Io jumped off of it a few years ago. I think it was last year too. Cora Jade and Kaylee Ray are new to this. So are Gigi and Toxic Attraction. Mandy Rose has never been in one. So it should be interesting to see how the dynamic of the 8 women are, because 3 have not been in it and stuff like that. But like I said, in the end, I'm taking Toxic Attraction's team to win, and I think Dakota Kai is going to be very beneficial for her in the end, on her team. So, like I said, in the end, I'm taking Toxic Attraction's team to win the women's War Game match. And after all the other action in the pay-per-view that we talked about before, and we get to the main event, and all those sirens start going off, let me tell you, people, when those sirens start going off, oh my God, I cannot. I was freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I jumped because it was so loud. I've never realized how loud it was, and it was just like, holy crap. But it's just awesome. And when that cage, just calms down, it's so cool to see just how they do it. And I cannot wait to see what these men do. These men, it's NXT 2.0 versus NXT Black and Gold. And, this is something that, I never thought we would actually see. I didn't think we would actually see it this fast, and I didn't think we would actually see them do something like this, because you know how we're always disappointed and we always don't believe what Vince McMahon does anymore, and he doesn't know what the hell he's doing anymore, people. But it's just one of those things. I never thought we'd see it right away, but we're getting it in War Games. And when this started building up and everything, and we saw Tommaso Ciampa and Braun Breaker and everything, it was something that I said last time on my show when we did Survivor Series, and even back when we did Halloween Havoc, and it was a way back prediction I did. I said that we possibly could see it. But now that we're getting it, it's something that I'm just really happy that we're seeing. And, I just want to remind everybody in this match, Johnny Gargano's, he did sign a 1-week extension for his contract, but I don't know if he's going to be back after this match. And it's another thing, if I see him show up in AEW in a month or two, or 90 days, because they have a 90-day contract rule. If they show up in 90 days in AEW, I'm going to cry, because it needs to stop happening, them jumping from back and forth. But this War Games match, this might even be better than the women, but the women might steal this show again. So the men might have a very high hill to topple after the women beat the hell out of each other. And, Braun Breaker did get the advantage for his team. So NXT 2.0 will have the same advantage as Kaylee Ray's team does in the women's. Like I said, it will always be Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes versus a Tommaso Ciampa. Then it will be Breaker, Hayes, and Grayson Waller versus Ciampa and LA Knight. So that's just an example, and it should be interesting to see. But it's different because Pete Dunne has been in War Games. Tommaso Ciampa's been in War Games. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Johnny Gargano's been in War Games. I'd have to go back. I haven't rewatched all of the War Games. I think the first one, he was on the team that Undisputed Era faced, I think. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, because I think I could be wrong. But NXT Black and Gold brand. Oh my God. NXT Black and Gold brand has way more experience in this match. And in this match, this is a match that if you have experience, it's so much better because it makes it so much easier and you know what to expect. If you've never been in this match, I almost said game. If you've never been in this match, you don't know what to expect. And WarGames is a different type of cage. You could be in Hell in a Cell, a steel cage, a cage, or whatever they want to call it. But WarGames is 2 rings, and you can't go nowhere. It's not like you could hide in the other ring, I guess, but it's crazy. So after all 8 men enter, and after Braun Breaker's team beats the crap out of Black and Gold brand, I said back again. I don't know why I keep saying back. Black and Gold brand, NXT 2.0. I think it's going to be a great fight, and they're going to put up a phenomenal fight. But nobody is going to be able to stop NXT Black and Gold. And nobody's going to be able to stop the original NXT, the people that have been doing this for a while, the people that have owned NXT, not these kids that are jumping from the 1990s and think they're all hippity hoppity and, jippity joppity. I love NXT 2.0, and don't get me wrong, I love everything they're doing. But NXT, the original Black and Gold, will always be my favorite, and Tommaso Ciampa is an original, Johnny Gargano is an original, Pete Dunne, the Cruiserweight, is an original, and, LA Knight is kind of an original. He's been here for a little bit, he kind of showed up at the end, but we'll give you the Black and Gold brand, LA Knight, so welcome to the team. But in the end, I'm taking the original, the Black and Gold brand of NXT, Tommaso Ciampa's team, to win and knock off NXT 2.0. NXT 2.0 is going to put up a great fight. They have the advantage, and they're going to feel good. But experience is everything again in this match, people. And I just think it's too much to handle for the NXT 2.0 kids. Tony D'Angelo, he'll do great things. Grayson Waller, he might jump off the cage, and that would be awesome. Carmelo Hayes might hide the whole entire time with his bodyguard. But Braun Breaker is going to be the guy that I'm most worried about on that team. But Black and Gold have everybody I'm worried about. So like I said, I'm taking Black and Gold. This pay-per-view is going to be phenomenal. NXT always delivers. They do their thing. NXT is awesome. I love that we have continued this pay-per-view. And it's not an NXT TakeOver WarGames. I did see that, and I really hope that's something that they don't continue to do, and it's something that they take away, because I loved when they called the NXT takeovers, and it just, everything that WWE's been through with releasing 800 superstars in the last 3 months, it seems like, and just going back and forth and not really knowing what we're going to expect and see every single week, because it's an up and down battle with Vince McMahon and what he wants to go through his head. But hopefully, NXT can stay and continue to do what they do. And, hopefully Triple H can get better. He's been kind of dealing with a lot of health issues. So hopefully the game can come back better than ever. And he could kick Vince McMahon out of that NXT chair and take back over. But that's just me, yeah. So, funny. I can't with Vince McMahon, people. I need Triple H back. We need him to take over. And yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm over it. So, there you have it. I've given you a prediction for all the 5 phenomenal matches that are going to go down this week, or this weekend at NXT TakeOver. This Sunday, make sure that you're watching. Make sure it's this Sunday, because sometimes NXT pay-per-views have been on a Saturday for like a Survivor Series weekend. But it's on Sunday, so don't forget, after you're done watching football and you go check out Tino's Time Fantasy Football Preview for all your last-minute fantasy football advice. Get ready, get some popcorn, and get ready to watch some War Games. And for people that, don't really watch wrestling, this is a match that I think people will really, really enjoy. And, there's a fight with Cruz and Davis. Yes, on Saturday it will be. So when the preview comes out for Tino's Time Wrestling Preview show for War Games, that will be out. It will be good. So make sure to check that out. But it just for the people that really don't watch wrestling, I think this would be a great way for people to be introduced to wrestling. Is this type of match of War Games? So I hope everybody enjoys War Games. I hope that all the brutality is everything that we want to see, and all this hype lives up to it, and we see these 16 people beat the living hell out of each other in War Games. I can't wait to see it. It's going to be phenomenal. And until Monday, when we do a post show and a review show of everything that went down in NXT War Games, and then we get ready for the new year. We talk about WWE Day 1, the WWE pay-per-view that has been announced for January 1st, 2022, the first day of the new year. So after you're done getting drunk on New Year's Eve, you can wake up on New Year's Day, feel good, get a little food in your belly, and then watch some WWE pay-per-viewing, because there's no WWE SmackDown and Raw pay-per-view in December. And so, yeah, there's no TLC, which kind of sucks because I love the TLC pay-per-view. But, they really don't have the TLC matches like they used to. So I guess it's really not that big of a deal. But it's okay. Until NXT War Games is over. And until Monday, when we do a post show and we get ready and we recap all the action. This is your boy Tino, signing out.